What up, everybody? A couple days ago, a report came out. The Power Book 2 Go Season 4, Episode 1 hit over 6.5 million cross-platform views. And considering there's people who watch the show with other people, as well as bootleg views, we can guess that the total number of viewers was at least around like 10 million. But sticking with that 6.5 million viewers, and to put that into perspective, I've said on this channel plenty times, I'm a basketball lover. I watch, play, teach the game, whatever. Even when I was in the game, similar to Ace off Paid in Full, you could always still find me at the basketball court. So with that said, I saw another report that the 2024 NBA Finals average viewership was only around like 5 million per game. And the NBA also recently signed a $76 billion collective bargaining agreement. And I know there's a lot of different factors that play a role into this, like ticket sales and sponsorships. But the fact that Power is reaching similar numbers as the NBA Finals is saying a lot. It lines up with what 50 Cent was posting about a Power expansion when it was announced that Season 3 would be the final season of Force. But at the same time, Gary Lennon, the showrunner of Force, has moved on to bigger and better things. He received a multi-year deal to work with Starz to develop expansions of the Power universe. Again, using the same word that 50 said in his post talking about expansions to the Power universe. And Starz was even running ads during the NBA Finals and all throughout the NBA playoffs as well. I said all that because I continue to see people saying on social media and even in my comments that both Force and Starz are being canceled because the network needs to save money, so they're going to combine the two shows together. But personally, I don't think that's what's going on at all, because things like advertising during the NBA Finals isn't cheap, as well as ads all over social media. And in my opinion, merging the two shows and airing Power less throughout the year would not save Starz money, but would actually lose them money. Airing Power less throughout the year would lose Starz money because Starz is a subscription-based service and it's month to month. And most of their subscribers are only subscribed to watch the Power shows and maybe BMF. After June 5th, when Book 2 finishes, until September 6th, when it comes back on, Starz is going to be airing Down in the Valley and Serpent Queen. And respectfully, not many people going to be watching that. Those shows might get around 6.5 thousand viewers combined for the first week, compared to Ghost 6.5 million. Reruns of the Power Books will almost guaranteed be getting better numbers than those shows. That is why it's in Starz' best interest not to merge shows, but like Starz CEO said a few months ago, after 3 or 4 seasons, to cancel the show and create multiple subsequent spin-offs based upon the continued story of a few of the characters. And as much as people say they wouldn't watch something like an Effie spin-off or a Tejada prequel, at the end of the day, they would still get better numbers than anything else Starz is trying to put out. And at the end of the day, making Starz more money also. So when it says Gary Lennon is leaving Force to develop expansions of the Power universe in general, what I see is Gary Lennon being more like the Power COO, as 50 is the CEO, and he will lay the backstory and everything behind the spinoffs, and then other showrunners like Sasha Penn and Brett Mahoney would take the show over after the development stage. So I know I just said a whole lot trying to break down this whole situation, and with that said, at the same time, having the Power universe's two biggest characters, Tommy and Tariq, on the same spinoff wouldn't be the best way to spread the money out throughout the year either. And I saw a report on Facebook a few weeks back that said Starz was in the developmental stage of a new spinoff following the lives of Tariq and Brayden as they transition into a new city. The cities listed on the articles was Baltimore, Atlanta, Miami, and Los Angeles. And regardless of where they end up, keep those cities in mind because they could all end up with a Power Book eventually. And just as Tariq and Brayden are on their way to one of these cities, Tommy might be on his way to one of these cities as well, or even on his way back to New York. But I think we're beginning to see the groundwork being laid out for the new Tariq and Brayden spinoff. if what this article is saying is actually true. In episode 3, we saw Brayden begin to connect with Elle, making the mistake of doing powder with her. But Brayden also came up with an idea of how him and Tariq were going to start moving product. Even though they still haven't worked out all the details on how everything will be done, the main idea is using merch tables at events to sell their product. So off the jump, Tariq and Brayden will begin into the music industry without even realizing it as promoters. Because they're going to be promoting Elle's group that also features Bruchandria and a new character named Stokely, who we were briefly introduced to in episode 3, across the city to get them shows. And this is definitely a good thing for Tariq and Brayden, because up until this point, they don't really have any kind of hobbies or anything like that, at least that we know about. And it's always good to diversify yourself so you can get out the game eventually. When Ghost first thought he made it out the game and told Tommy about it, Tommy was like, "What about me?" And Ghost told him something like, "It's not my fault that you never diversified outside the game." So this will be a good thing for Tariq and Brayden to get some experience in. In episode 3, Tariq told Davis that he was getting back in the game because he said if he wants to get out, he wants it to be on his own terms. And I felt that. Like Davis said, it makes sense. This was how I was able to transition out the game because I started writing lyrics to pass time in juvie at 17. Then when my mother kicked me out and I got my own spot, my apartment would be filled up with people partying, and I also had a mic where we would freestyle on this program I had on my computer called Magic Music Maker. And either that was just a hobby and we were just doing it for fun, at the same time I was acquiring skills, like Ghost said, diversifying. So when I got out of prison and wanted out the game, I had other options and got into music video production, lyric videos, putting on shows, doing video productions of the shows for the artist portfolios, and different things like that. Basically, whatever I could do to get a legit dollar in my pocket. In episode 3, Tariq told Brayden, where we start isn't going to be where we finish, but we have to start. This could be foreshadowing their future, that they're going to start out selling products, setting up merch tables, but as they expand, they will become record label owners. And this is when they'll move to one of the cities I mentioned earlier, following season 4 for the next spinoff. And I personally think if they're getting to the music industry, then the city they'll move to is Atlanta. Because this is where a lot of the top artists in the game come from, and a lot of my favorites specifically. Future, Young Thug, Lil Baby, and even older artists like Jeezy, T.I., and Gucci. All some of my personal favorites. And another reason, in addition to the fact that the clues from the shows are starting to point in this direction, that I think that Tariq and Brayden will get into the music industry, is the fact that Michael Rainey Jr. has said multiple times that he has a passion for music and wants to combine his acting and his love for music. What better way to do this than to have a Power spinoff in the music industry, almost like Power's version of Empire, but actually getting to see Tariq build his own empire from the ground up. Now also keep in mind how much Tariq loves his mother Tasha. And right now she's living a life that is far from her dream, working in some small town in the middle of nowhere at a store called Shop Depot. Completely irrelevant, living in Witsec. Now with that said, what was Tasha's dream before she met Ghost? It was to become a singer. This was also part of why she fell for Terry, is because they sang karaoke together. And in Power Season 1, Tasha was even raising Raina up to become a singer. So in this next spinoff, Tariq will bring Tasha in to live out her dream, and she will be the A&R for his record label. Also keep in mind that Tariq potentially got Diana pregnant, who also mentioned moving to Atlanta and attending Spelman in Season 3. So we could potentially see Diana in this spinoff as well, maybe even with a few-year time jump, with Tariq's twins being 3 or 4 years old. And there's also the fact that 50 Cent has his studio in Shreveport, Louisiana. They could potentially do a lot of filming there as well, then just say things are happening in Atlanta or Miami or wherever they're saying they're located at. And for anybody looking into cheap real estate, I'm going to let you know Shreveport is where it's at. So you could potentially move to Shreveport and link up with 50 Cent. And there you have it. Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.